On today's show, come on, are we overthinking it? It's Kevin Durant. Should the Mavs just go for it? And what about Collin Sexton? We'll talk about that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
Stop it! Let's go! Stop! The number one pick will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg will fly in Dallas.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years. Thanks for being an everyday, making Locked On Mavs your first listen each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code LOCKEDONNBA to get $20 off your first purchase. Joining me, as always, my co-host, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years, right alongside me, the traveling turkey, the one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
I'm not the traveling turkey. You are. You're in some. You're in some creepy bedroom. You look like you're in some either hostage. Yeah, it's just a great setup. So if you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing out.
It's either that or the hospital lighting.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there, but we got some. Yeah, we got a picture of some barns behind you.
Today's episode, we're going to get into Collin Sexton. It's a rumor floating around the Mavs could go after Collin Sexton. Could he be the guard to fix the Mavs' issues? And we'll also talk about Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant has been in a lot of rumors lately. People have been talking about Kevin Durant, where he's going to go. He's absolutely going to get traded. That's one of the big things. But where is he going to get traded to? And Isaac, are the Mavs just overthinking this? Is everybody just overthinking this with Kevin Durant? Like, Kevin Durant is available. He can be got. The price is apparently not that high. Should the Mavs just go do it?
Yeah, I do think some of the discourse around KD has gotten a little weird, like with this trade stuff. It started off as like, hey, Kevin Durant's going to get traded. And now I feel like it's like kind of swung the other way of, well, I wouldn't give up anything for Kevin Durant. Like, he's 37. He's and it's like, guys, he can still score on your favorite player. Like, he is like one of still the best scorers in the league. And I just think the pendulum swung too far on, hey, you shouldn't give up X, Y, or Z for Durant. Now, as soon as the Bane trade happened, like, you're not giving up that amount of picks and everything for Kevin Durant. Like, I get that. Like, you shouldn't. But it's just, yeah. So, should the Mavericks go out and get him? We've talked about it before. You have to deplete basically all of your depth. You have to throw four different contracts in there for the most part. Then, you're eliminating a lot of the depth, replacing that with some minimum contracts, and then you're having this lineup of a Kyrie, KD, Cooper, AD, Lively. Like, do you really believe Cooper's going to play the two?
Is KD going back to the two? Peter Carlissimo, come on down. Play KD at the two again.
But can I swerve just a little bit and say, can I just give me a few minutes here? Because I'm not in the camp of like depleting all the depth. I'm just not. I love Durant, and I think teams should go get him. But I'm not in the camp of trading 4 or 5 players to go get him, because you need depth. Let me just throw out something to you. I'm not saying I would for sure do this, but this is just something that I was thinking about. I feel like Bill Simmons here, thinking about on my walk today.
About to do body language, doctor.
So
you know what we should talk about is the face of the league. Who's the face of the league?
That's good. Now, give me a moment to explain it, but let me just say this.
ISO out.
What if Dallas called and said, hey, Anthony Davis for Durant? And
Dallas is making this call?
Dallas is making a call. Here's the thing. So here's the trade. Now, let me explain it. Durant, it would have to be past June 30th, all right? Because they can't aggregate salaries, but once they get past June 30th and start the new year, they can waive some people, get on their second apron, and aggregate salaries. Kevin Durant, the 29th pick in the draft this year, which Dallas is trying to get back in to get a late round pick.
True.
They can trade one future first. Now, it has different swap rights and all the different stuff on it. So you're getting 2 firsts out of it with Durant and Ryan Dunn for Anthony Davis and Omax.
Oh, your boy. You had to throw him in. You had to throw him in as filler.
You're like, all right, why would the Suns attach stuff to Durant to get Anthony Davis? Because they get a legitimate second star next to Booker moving forward. Anthony Davis, Devin Booker in Phoenix. They figure it out from then. What a move for Devin Booker at that point to say, hey, we got you, Anthony Davis. Why would Dallas do that? Here's a couple of reasons. Your whole timeline that you've been talking about 2 to 3 years and all this stuff, you still do that, right? Like you're still going for it. Like you're still like Kevin Durant is going to be pretty dang good next year. You're still trying to win. He is a win now type of player. So you stay good. Cooper Flagg gets to play his natural position and go immediately to the four. And then you have him and KD on the wing. KD can play the 3. You get 2 more first round picks out of it to add to the Lakers first round pick and your first round picks to throw into a future deal. You keep all your depth.
You get 1 future pick to throw into a future deal. You get 1 pick you're using right now.
Okay, yeah, 29th pick, yeah. You get 1 future pick to add to your first you can include in trades. You get a young player in Ryan Dunn, who I like defensively, especially on the wing. And this is the thing. You get younger, but you stay good, and you open up salary going into next season. Because I would do that without the guarantee that you're going to sign KD to some $120 million contract. Now all of a sudden you're going into like you're good right now, and you're adding some young pieces and Ryan Dunn, the 29th pick, you get the future first 2. So you get more assets to go after something bigger than where's the no way?
I think the no way comes from you started this all talking about we've gone too far with Anthony Davis, or we've gone too far with Kevin Durant. And I think we've gone too far with Anthony Davis because I think he's a top 10 player in the NBA, right? We went through it. We went through the names and you're like, oh man, like he is a top 10, very comfortably top 15 player in the NBA. And if that's what you're getting for him, you're getting Kevin Durant, who is 37 and is going to be on the team for, I don't know, a couple more years. And he did play very well last year, but has gone through some of these situations where, all right, why did that end badly? Why did this end badly? Why did this end badly? He asked for, Bradley Beal. There's a lot of different things with Kevin Durant that it's not just basketball for him, even though he tries to make it about basketball. Every time he gets online, he says, well, let's just talk about basketball. Let's talk about basketball. Okay, you're the one making it not about basketball sometimes in these situations. Ryan Dunn he's an interesting piece. He feels like a Max Christie that's thrown in to a deal where you're like, okay, young player, interesting, but not sure how much value is there. The late first is nice, but again, it's kind of like a fake first this year. And then their future first is interesting for sure. But it's kind of like it's like, okay, shouldn't they try and ride it out with Anthony Davis now and Kyrie now and give that a chance? Instead, now you get to play like you get to hedge the game with this kind of trade and be like, all right, we're kind of going for it right now, but we're also going for the future instead. And it's like, what message are you now sending your team?
I mean, I feel like they're kind of already doing that anyway, but I mean that yes, this would be
they're going for it. What moves have they made that are future moves, right? Like
by not trading Cooper Flagg for Giannis.
I was gonna say just keeping Cooper Flagg and getting that pick in the lottery. That worked out.
Yeah, I mean, you could you could entertain Giannis type stuff for Cooper Flagg, but I'm with you. Let me just say this. I'm with you on a lot of the Anthony Davis stuff. I've never been on this pod before saying they should trade Anthony Davis or all the different stuff. I'm with you with all of that I think he is like really underrated now. And I think it's been really unfair to him since he's been in Dallas that like he hasn't been beloved because he's part of the Luka trade and all this stuff. And I hope he's healthy. I think he's going to be on the team. I don't think Nico will ever trade him because I mean, he kind of went all in as like he is the Luka replacement. But it just it made me think today about that of like, that's a situation because I don't think it's an Anthony Davis to somewhere for like 5 first-round picks and a salary filler. I think KD's still that good to where if they did a trade like that, you could not be so hemorrhaged by your salaries moving forward, and you gain some other assets and like a Ryan Dunn as a trade asset too, to where you could take some of those, go out and swing for another guy too. And I was just really, I don't know. I was just thinking about it too much because then it's like Kyrie, let's just say Klay, KD, Cooper Flagg, Dereck Lively. with like Gafford, PJ, Christie, Naji, Ryan Dunn. I mean, that's a deep, deep team next year. And if like Kyrie comes back like healthy, like I don't know, like that's a pretty dang good team.
It would still be a good team. It would definitely be a good team, and it would have a lot of future, like it would have a lot of future stock on that team.
Let me ask you this: if FanDuel put odds on it, who plays more games next year, Durant or AD?
Oh, the Durant one is Durant has not been super durable, right? Like that's been a thing for him. That he played 62 games this year, 75 the year before that, 47 the year before that. 55, 35. Now we're getting into the COVID years.
Okay.
I would probably say, well, I would hope in my heart of hearts, Anthony Davis.
Me too.
but then you don't know, right? I mean, Anthony Davis got hurt 15 minutes into his debut with the Mavs. And so it's like, okay, well, anything is on the table with him injury-wise.
All right, I have more KD.
I keep Anthony Davis in your scenario. That's what I decide to do. I'm curious what people think. If you're listening right now, comment on YouTube. We'll put this out on social and all that stuff at Locked On Mavs on everywhere. So
I'm gonna get destroyed in the comments for that trade, by the way.
Probably, but I think some would really want that because I think some want to move on from this era and be like, all right, let's hedge a little bit and let's get some future assets and let's just move on from this so that we're not tied to, what the Luka trade was, I guess. But no, I'm against it. Coming up, let's talk about Kevin Durant. Where is he actually going to go? How is it going to affect the Mavs? Talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Olipop. Olipop. Yeah. Was that a crisp apple?
Oh, it's a crisp apple, Nick.
Absolutely delicious. I love Olipop. Isaac's got one right now. It's the people who love the classic taste of soda but want something that supports their health with just 2 to 5 grams of sugar and 9 grams of prebiotic fiber in every can. Olipop is reimagining soda in a way that's better for your gut. It's good for you. Go check it out. And I think a lot of the flavors taste just like soda, and it doesn't have the 39, 40, 50 grams of sugar in it like some of the others. But I love the vintage cola. I love the root beer. I love the crisp apple. I'm out of crisp apple now. I think I need to go get some more. You can also get a free can of Olipop. If you buy 2 cans at a store, they'll reimburse you. Head to drinkolipop.com/lockedonnba. Claim your free can and find Olipop near you. OLIPOP. Drinkolipop.com/lockedonnba.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
With us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. We appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show and listening. We've got the text line 214-643-8637, and you can get text from me and Isaac. Do Q&As. We'll send every single rumor we ever see about the Mavericks. We'll send it straight to you and all that. And so check out the text line, and we'll be there for you. All right, Isaac, we're getting into Kevin Durant. We've been talking about you gave like a crazy scenario in the first part, talking about if the Mavs could go after him and if the Mavs should just stop overthinking it and just get Kevin Durant because he's – and you could also get maybe some assets from the Suns, even though I don't know if the Suns are going to give up assets. But they do seem like a team in a desperate state to, like, move into a different era with Devin Booker, and that Anthony Davis could do it for him.
I want to say this about the KD stuff, too. I feel like I was listening to a national podcast earlier today, too, and it was like, how will KD's legacy be remembered? And
you listen to Stephen A. Smith?
Unchecked. You want me? Unchecked Stephen A. Smith is one of the worst things to happen to sports, like media in general. You
want to deep dive into his stuff? His beef? You want to deep dive into his beef with John Morant right now?
God, he's just embarrassing. Like, and it's embarrassing for like the. I could keep on going, but anyway. The Kevin Durant discourse is so weird to me for his career because you're talking about a player, an all-time player, one of the best scorers of all time, but an all-time NBA great that constantly gets like scrutinized for making decisions that people don't agree with, but they're decisions that are not like harmful. Like it's a different thing if he's like, just like a jerk or like getting in trouble off the floor or something like that. There's a difference between making a decision like that people don't agree with. But like you think about it, it's like he makes a decision, and so much of the discourse around Durant is just because a lot of people just don't like agree with what he did. It's like, oh, he shouldn't have left OKC. Well, that's like just a basketball thing he wanted to do. Well, then it was like, well, he should have never left the Warriors. Like he could have won multiple titles. Like that is just stupid for him. He should have never teamed up with Kyrie in Brooklyn. Well, then he shouldn't have never. And it's like, he shouldn't talk online. Like how many people responded like, "Ha, got a response from me. I won." Like all this stuff. It's like we constantly want players to interact with people more, but he does it. And then so it's like it's such a weird thing for me that Kevin Durant's discourse is like the narrative around it is just like, oh man, he's kind of like a what if player to people because he's done a lot of things and made decisions in his NBA career that people just don't like. You can't say that they're wrong. Some people like to do that. It's just something that is stuff that he wanted to do in his career. So I don't know. It's just, I've just been thinking a lot about Durant today.
Depends on what you mean by wrong. Like, what do you mean wrong? Like, is it the wrong choice?
Like because it's wrong for him to go to the Warriors?
I was gonna say, was the Nets thing? Well, the Warriors thing was not wrong because he won a couple of titles, right? Like, depends on.
I know, but like,
is that the definition of being correct?
Yeah, well, it wasn't wrong to you because he won titles, but it's like he went to Brooklyn. Okay, it was wrong to us because it didn't like work out. But like, if he doesn't think it's wrong, and it's no, but like, I don't. It's just a weird spot for us to be like, just.
So do you find yourself being more sympathetic to him and saying, all right, let's bring in, and I want that situation.
I'm more sympathetic to him, but that because like I enjoy I don't think all of it is like, I wouldn't do it like the interacting with fans on social media, different things, but I think it's like cool in general. Like he's just like talking ball or dunking on people on Twitter and like different stuff like that. And some people like it, that's like brought up in the Durant discourse. Like, yeah, I mean, and then he's just online. It's just like, what is he doing being online? Is easy. And like, it's like almost like, does he care as enough because he's online?
There's so many arguments that if people are trying to like attack a player or if they're trying to say that they disagree, they take like any little thing and add it to their argument as like an extra, like a little extra, like just a little, okay, he's online and what about this and this? And you're just like, these are just such small things that don't even really matter that much. And then like, you're just really mad about the main thing. You're just really mad that he went to Phoenix and that it didn't work out and the Bradley Beal thing. And now it's,
Phoenix,
a disaster and you just want to dunk on him.
Like I was listening today to somebody who was like holding the Phoenix situation against Durant. Like, well, look at him. He went last year. Like, it doesn't matter about the numbers. He couldn't even get the Suns to where. And it's like, really? It's just Durant's fault? Like,
well, our Locked On Suns guy Ben Garcia has been banging the drum to Kevin Durant himself, and Kevin Durant has responded to him about a bunch of different things that. Where Kevin Durant, but he also put Devin Booker in there too. The Devin Booker and Kevin Durant like helped recruit Bradley Beal. That they wanted DeAndre Ayton out. There's like a bunch of different things that they did.
Right move.
And so I don't know. It's like, well, was it? They brought in Nurkic, and then now they have no center. And like, okay,
DeAndre Ayton sucks.
He's not. I mean, he's not. He wasn't worth the contract for sure.
No. Yeah, no.
He was a center on a title team or on a finals team.
He's not even going to start next year for Portland. Like, if Klingon's not starting, then I don't know what they're doing.
Go listen to Locked On Blazers.
Anyway, it's just weird. I don't know. And one of the KD things that's really funny to me right now is it feels like every other day there is a report saying, man, they're just like, they're the leaders right now. The odds have went for them. I mean, it's just circled around from it was done with San Antonio to Timberwolves don't care. Well, Houston's just going to sneak into this thing. Well, Toronto
doesn't want Timberwolves.
Toronto's going to pull a Kawhi. Well, who's the dark horse is going to step? And Clippers. And so I don't even know what to expect. I feel like Houston's my like pick at this point. But
I've been with the Texas teams. San Antonio, Houston. I think he goes to one of those. I think he goes to one of those teams, makes the West a little bit harder. If he gets traded for Jalen Green, that'd be such a weird thing. You'd have to imagine Jalen Green goes to a third team.
Well, it's funny. Some of that reporting was just like Suns are not interested in Jalen Green. It's like, whoa, all righty. But if he goes to Houston, and they don't have to give up like any of their like main rotational pieces type of thing, or if it is something with like Jalen Green and like one of their draft picks and like Reed Shepherd, and they keep all the other people in there. I mean, I think Houston, I have to put them in like contender status, not OKC level, but no one's going to be on that level next year going into the season. But it's like, I think they're clearly in tier 2.
I don't know. Well, they have more shot making for sure. I don't know if they have the playmaking to get through another round, but maybe with that defense, they don't need it. But maybe Şengün and Amen Thompson take a leap in that category, and then it's different. But interesting. Collin Sexton, could he be the answer at guard? There's a rumor that the Mavs have potentially talked. So maybe a loose rumor, but we'll talk about that. And we think he's the answer coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and go to Game Time, and you can go get a couple bucks off of your first tickets. They have all kinds of different things. The weekend is coming in. They have the FIBA World Cup. They have a couple of things there. You can go check out that. They have Benson Boone, if that's what you're into. They have all kinds of different things coming to DFW all the time. It's not just sports, it's comedy, concerts, all that. Go check it out. And you got to love it for NFL tickets. If you're looking to go see the Cowboys this year, great seats for as low as $100 thanks to exclusive discounts. And with Game Time Guarantee, your tickets are 100% authentic and will arrive on time. You'll always get the best price with fees included. So what you see is what you pay. If you've never used Game Time, grab NFL seats now. It's the time. Seriously, game day upgrade. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create that account, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Isaac, we're talking about Collin Sexton. There's a rumor recently. Andy Larson from the Salt Lake City Tribune talked about a couple of scenarios he's heard with the Utah Jazz, and one of them was Walker Kessler. There were some other ones with draft picks, and then there was this one with Collin Sexton and Collin Sexton to the Mavericks, and it kind of just makes a lot of sense. We've brought up Collin Sexton before. We haven't really dove into a potential player for the Mavericks or somebody that they would go after, but he makes $19 million, but it's an expiring contract. He's a 6'3" guard, and he's this like hard nose, like they call him Young Bull, like that's his nickname, and he plays like that, man. He's like plays with his hair on fire and plays super hard, super passionate. Like him, Lively, PJ, and Naji, if they were ever on and throw Cooper Flagg in there, if they were ever on the floor at the same time, like we could have a quad scream situation where they just like all screamed at the same time after like an emphatic play. They're just that kind of passionate and vocal. And I'm kind of talking myself into Collin Sexton as somebody that the Mavs should go after, especially if you don't think you can keep a Gafford or a PJ Washington. Like, you got to pick one of them if they think that. I know there's that rumor going around that Stein has said that the Mavs don't want to trade either of them. I think that may be a little bit of posturing. Like, hey, we don't want to trade either of these guys. You got to give up a little bit more. We're not just
of course they don't want to trade.
We're not just going to give these guys away. But it is going to be hard for them to keep both of those guys. And so if you don't think you can keep them both, then I don't know, Collin Sexton. Like, that's an interesting one to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like what's the tiers of options. Like you have or at least how I view it, you have like the minimum guys that we've talked about a lot. Mm-hmm. And then you have like the Kobe Whites that could be dealt this offseason, but I think it's like one of the better guards that could be dealt. And then for me, Collin Sexton is like in the middle of that. Like he's not a minimum guy at all. He's much better than that. But I don't think he's quite on Kobe White's level. I think it's just like a notch down from that. But I'm not opposed to it. Like there's when you look at what Dallas, I mean, talking about making Nico happy, talking about effort. I mean, this guy goes 100 miles an hour. Sure. And so like he's always given all the effort. He is a little smaller, he's around that 6'2", 6'3" range. He's around the same age as Gafford, 26. But he plays. I mean, he played 61 games last year, or he started in 61 games last year. He's a good shooter. 40% from three last year. And you look at his career as a 3-point shooter, I think it's like 38, 39%. And that's only lowered because he had 1 year through there. It was like 25%. But every other year has been 37, 38, 40% from three. and he's been in the league same amount of time as Luka. He came in the Luka's draft, 8th pick overall, drafted before SGA in that draft.
Whoa.
But like 80% free throw shooter. I say those shooting things because he can shoot. Like this is something they need. They need somebody who can get buckets, especially when Kyrie is out. And I think he fits the mold of like a 6-man role when Kyrie comes back. So the only thing about it, and I don't like doing this because it's never Apple. It's like it's never fair to like do the straight comp on this. But like he's just never been in a winning situation.
I was just thinking that.
In all the years that he's been in the league. Now, once again, you can't always hold that against a player, but still, he's like, this is his, 7th season in the league, and like he's never gotten above 37 wins in a season on a team that he's been on. The one time in his career that they won over 40 games was the season he got hurt in and only played 11 games. So I kind of don't like count that because he didn't play much. So there's a little bit of like, if you are a believer in the good stats, bad team guy, like some of his best statistical seasons were some of the worst like winning seasons. And is it like one of those situations? Like I used to kid about Dennis Smith Jr. early on in Dallas. You kind of unleash a guy like Dennis Smith and like, hey, go have all the dunks and funds and stuff. But like, you're not going to win a ton of games back then for the player that Dennis was back then. He's gotten much better, I think, defensively now. So, but I'm not sitting there saying like, hey, that should define Collin Sexton's whole career. Like he's just never been in the playoffs, never won. So like maybe it would work the opposite way of like, now it's like, hey, I've experienced all of this. I'm ready to hone in on like a winning role. I don't know.
The one thing I would say about that is that he was in the Donovan Mitchell trade. So he went from like a bad situation in Cleveland that was like not a winner. They're winning like 19 games his first couple years because they were drafting high. Then he gets traded to the Utah Jazz, who just traded Rudy Gobert and then also traded Donovan Mitchell for him. And so then now he's been with 2 like rebuilding tanking teams. And so I'm not holding it completely against him, but I'm not like shielding my eyes from it either. Like I'm definitely looking at that and saying, all right, he's never played in the playoffs. He's been on these bad teams. And it's hard to tell with these super high effort guys, like what is going to impact winning and how does that translate into winning games? Because we look at some of these teams where you go, all right, well, this team is just balls to the wall all the time. So much effort. And then they get to the playoffs and it's a completely different level. Everybody steps up there and then they look completely overwhelmed because they can't go to another gear. And I'm curious if he's the player version of that, or can he go to an extra gear? But then my big question for him is, do the Mavs even care about that? When Kyrie comes back, wouldn't they just want him for like 15, 20-minute spurts where he's like how the Mavs play Lively and Gafford, where they play him these 20 minutes and they just go all out, all
it's
offense.
The Dinwiddie role,
Well, no, it's that he plays the all effort, like goes out there and is like, all right, we're going to play you these 15 minutes, but you just play with your hair on fire. You go out there and run as hard as you can, go for every loose ball, go for every steal. And you could take all these risks because we have this great backline defense of Anthony Davis, Dereck Lively, and Cooper Flagg probably behind you at different times. Yeah. And so it could work. The Mavs do just need somebody to come in and fill minutes and like to score. And he's 18, 19 point per game scorer, can hit the 3 like you said, and like he checks enough of the boxes to me that it's not the perfect fit. But if they did find a trade that was worth it, where they didn't have to give up a ton, or even if they could get off of some salary to do it, like maybe it's a Gafford and a Hardy, and that makes it work, and you save a little bit there, then
this is the
I'd
thing
be for
about this thing about I think I'm for him as a player if they could get him for like a lot of things the right price. You're not entertaining any type of draft picks with him for a trade for him. The thing is, for the anti-trade PJ or Gafford crowd, you really can't get him. I mean, unless you're like, hey, Klay for Sexton or something like that.
Can you do like a Naji Caleb Martin? Doesn't that get you to like 18?
I guess so. That would just be tough for me. It's like,
but then the question is like, why is Utah doing that?
Well, I think a third team would have to be brought in. Like even if you did, Gafford and somebody for it, I think that they're probably calling up Pelinka and saying, "Can we get Dalton Connect and something else for Daniel Gafford or something like that?" So that's the thing. But so that's the question: is like, is Collin Sexton worth Daniel Gafford and Jaden Hardy, or is he worth? Yeah, and then like what for Dallas? That's the tough part, and that's where I go back and forth on it. Because Gafford's they're both expiring contracts. They're both around the same age, but they're two vastly different positions. So I don't know. It's kind of like a coin flip for me type of thing. If they did it, I'm not like I see the vision for like why you go get a Collin Sexton, and I think because of the effort and the good shooting and stuff I think it would like fit well. I don't know that I need to watch more of him to have a firm take on his like playmaking. I can't really speak fully on that. That's probably a David Locke.
It's just so hard in the context too.
I know. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm for him as a player for the right price. I signed me up. I think it would be a good move for Dallas, but if the price gets a little steeper, if it's Gafford and like Naji or something, I don't know. I don't think I'm doing that.
To give up 2 role players that are rotation players. That's a little tough. Yeah, interesting. Let us know in the comments on YouTube. Let us know on social at Locked On Mavs everywhere. If you would do this, if you would do the Kevin Durant trade we mentioned earlier, guys, we'll be back tomorrow with more, talking through some more rumors. Anything that pops up, we'll talk about here. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.